Hey folks, this is Jake Davis with an on-the-fly review for you. And that's right, bitches. It is time to choose your fighter and test your might. It is Mortal Motherfucking Kombat. I have been super stoked for this movie. Now, if this one came out maybe 2 or 3 years ago, I probably would not have been as excited. Still looking forward to it, sure. But right now, this is just the kind of movie I needed to see. Kong and Godzilla was great. But it's too much human shit. We get Mortal Kombat characters this whole movie. Now this is the third theatrical Mortal Kombat movie. The first one came out in 1995. The second one 1997, which is just god awful. First one's pretty fun. I did a top 5 videos covering comic book movies. I think 2 years ago, damn near to the day. Is when the Sonic trailer first hit. That awful, terrifying one. But yeah, man, I've been really excited for this movie, and let's get into it. First off, the movie is directed by Simon McQuoid. I had to make sure that wasn't a fucking typo. I'm convinced, somebody, wanted to prank his mom or something, so they misspelled McQuaid just to fuck with this poor family. The movie stars Hiroyuki Sanada, Joe Taslim, Louis Tan, Jessica McNamee. It's really cold in my house right now, so I'm kind of starting to stutter. Makad Brooks, Ludi Lin, Josh Lawson, Neeg, Shin Han, Matt Huang, and Tabanabo Asano. I had these names pronounced before I started. Well, you may not recognize any of those names off. First, you've definitely seen some of these guys before. The guy who plays Shang Tsung was Lao in The Dark Knight. The guy who plays Raiden was Hogun in the Thor films. And the kid who's playing Liu Kang was the Black Ranger and Zack in the 7th 2017 Power Ranger movie. Which... that's a whole different... I wrote a review for it. I actually think when you want to compare it to the reboots of shit like Lone Ranger and the Green Hornet, I thought Power Rangers did a pretty good job. Be fair, it's still a shit movie, though. Let's talk about Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat is, of course, based off of the video game from 1993. I believe it was when it first launched. It might be a bit behind there. That may have just been when it went to consoles, actually. But Mortal Kombat was a big, big deal. It was super famous for its violence and for its actually using actors, video footage of playable characters for the performances in the first few games. Mortal Kombat is also, I may have talked about this before, was a big part of me getting into pro wrestling. I remember I really dug Mortal Kombat. I liked the tournament style. I like how there were heroes and villains. Everybody had their own motivation to get into the story. Everybody was colorful, had their own backstory and unique abilities. It was just so cool to me. And and I remember a friend of mine telling me that, why don't you like pro wrestling? I just knew pro wrestling was just being this silly. It's fake wrestling, but yeah, it's the same thing. It's comic books and video games, but it's real dudes. So I'm like, okay, tell me more. But yeah, let's talk about this movie. It's really late right now, and I literally just watched this movie, so I'm very excited. Had a very, very good time. So the setup is that of the game, really. Outworld has won 9 tournaments in a row, and after they win this tournament, they will conquer Earth forever and enslave all humanity. Lord Raiden, desperate, puts together and tries to train Earth's heroes. Now and prepare them for the tournament. It's the same plot as the game as from the first film, but a lot of the characters' backstories are more faithful here and more fleshed out. The only character in the original game that wasn't in this movie and also was in the 1995 film is Johnny Cage. But we're gonna get some Johnny Cage. If there's a sequel, they guarantee some Johnny Cage by the end of this movie. Classic, boom, going to Hollywood to see Mr. Cage kind of thing. I don't really want to give spoilers. It's not really a spoiler. If you've seen any action movie the last 15 years, you can guess it's going to end like that. But especially franchise action movies. But yeah, man, I just thought it did a great job setting up its characters, and even questions I had going into this movie, like why were they doing things like this, doing characters like that, are definitely answered here. It's for the sake of the story, it's sake for the sake of the ride. I absolutely love how they took their time building up the characters and how the way the tournament unfolds. I'm literally sitting here in the movie going, we don't have enough time. When's all the fights going to start? And it's done so beautifully, so well done. And it also doesn't feel like it's dragging or slowing down or you're waiting for action scenes at any point. It's just fucking blast of a movie. It had no right to be this fun. And another point here, real good point here. If many people have asked for years now, why has there never really been a great a video game adaptation? And I have my own theories about it. If you want to go back and watch that, you could help me out, But I really think that this film has shown that what it was missing was that intangible factor of someone who grew up and loved and truly adored the property. I mean, would the Salkins Superman film as worked if would that movie have worked without an actual Superman fanboy like Richard Donner behind the camera? And I can't remember the guy's name. Let me the writer. This is the real, because this is what I loved about this movie was the fucking script of Mortal Kombat is what I want to praise the most here, because the way he was able to make it all work as a movie, just as just everything felt good and worked and fit. My only real problem I had with this was Goro. I don't like where Goro's used. I don't like how Goro is dealt with. I actually think they had more fun and did Goro better right in the original film. But I also like how this movie wants to go a bit more for a Bryan Singer X-Men approach instead of focus on, like, say, Liu Kang, who is definitely the hero. He's the fucking hero in this movie too, for sure. This movie kind of goes for a little bit of an ensemble. Does focus on Cole Gung, who's our main character. And I'm not going to give any spoilers about his background or anything like this, because I want you to see the movie. This movie was written by Greg Russo and David Callahan. These guys did a great job. But the train of thought. But yeah, it's just, I don't know, how much can I gush over a fucking Mortal Kombat movie? I really fucking just had an absolute blast. I can't praise this movie anymore. I know that I've praised movies before that maybe people went back on. Oh, that wasn't all that fucking great. But I know fun is fun. And, look at what, Jesus Christ, I sound like my mother. I think I've said like 90 times in this video so far. But you go back and look at the movies nominated for Best Picture, just nothing but depression and doom and gloom, one fucking way or the other. And this is what we need. We need shit like Mortal Kombat, King Kong vs. Godzilla. Roll out some more fucking silly, ridiculous movies. I was going to say Space Jam 2, but holy fuck, no, we don't need that. Anyhow, I'm giving this movie 5 fucking stars easily. One of the best times I've had watching a movie. The best time I've had watching a movie since shit, man, maybe Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, to be 100% honest with you. Definitely since before the pandemic. Sonic the Hedgehog got a lot of love and a lot of praise because it tried to show the fans some appreciation and give them the Sonic they wanted. That way, that's why it's easier to look over a lot of the shitty writing and unnecessary background characters and shit like that just do not need to be there. But this is Mortal Kombat. This is a Mortal Kombat movie for people who wanted to see a Mortal Kombat movie. And I fucking loved it. See this movie as soon as you fucking can. I'm Jake Davis, and I'll catch you on the fly.